Greetings, humanity. I am Jim, and I am playing City Skylines. I'm actually a little late today, so I don't know if I'm going to be going for quite as long as usual. We'll see. I mean, I have time, so possibly. It just depends on how we balance everything out today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm so mad, actually, because I only just managed to readjust my microphone volume levels, and I ran an entire game session last night without doing it, and so I'm only at like 3/4 of usual volume, and it shall be there indelibly on the stream with no way to fix it. Curses, curses. I know, minor problems. Let's see. Stuff. So I'm going to try to squeeze in a, what was it, tuna? Tuna. I was possibly going to try to squeeze in a tuna fishery. Because of this glorious thing we see here. Mayhap. There were a couple of other ideas, actually, I also had, for no apparent reason. Do we have the, I think we've unlocked everything at this point. Tuna, there it is. No pollution, does have noise pollution, so I could go ahead and just stick it over here, probably. Because if we look at our other fisheries, not a huge amount of traffic. Also, not a huge amount of traffic for the anchovies or the regular fishery. It's funny that. The only problem here might be interfering with, harbor routes, but we'll see. We'll see. Disappointment. He says, just looking at his warehouses. How dare they? How dare they? Okay, let me check out once again where the where the tuna is hanging out and see if it's feasible. I don't know. That looks like a collision waiting to happen. I am not sure. I am not sure if that's feasible. So, like, if we have a, we throw down our, we have to throw it down somewhere. It's going to be very dangerous. Yeah, I feel for the amount of tuna involved, this probably is not actually worth trying to do. This would be a mistake. I believe that's the word for the word I'm looking for here. Yes, mistake. Yes, a terrible, terrible mistake. Let's not do that. I did have a different idea, though. Just because, why not? Thing I hadn't really thought about too much, but which might work. Might be interesting. What's your idea, Jim? Well, here it is. I'm thinking of putting some a few bridges across, just footbridges. Not vehicular bridges, just footbridges. Make it easier for folks to get back and forth across if they wish. I mean, to an extent, I guess I could do vehicular bridges. I'm not sure what that would do. That would be very strange. It also might do terrible things to the traffic. One cannot be sure. Nevertheless, perhaps we should try it. Perhaps. We don't have a lot happening over here. A vehicular bridge going across. Transit is a strange beast. Like, we could potentially have a road go across and just connect with that road just for the sake of that. But why? Why? Wait, let's look at traffic for right now and see if it's terrible. It's not terrible. Turning this into a four-way intersection would only make it worse. Yeah. I think foot traffic is better to, if we're gonna have any type of traffic, it should be foot traffic. So we'll do that. Let's see if we have the ability to do that. I think it would be cool. This is as I'm warming up and trying desperately to remember the things I actually want to do. It is a slow process. Now, do I want it right next to the monorail? Or do I want to... we can put it right next to it. Provided the terrain cooperates. Which I think it will. Somewhat. Sloping is a strange beast. Let's try something slightly different here. Let's just meet it, right? How strange. I just don't understand anymore. Alright. We have the thing. It goes out to here, right? Okay. This is intensely strange. What are we doing? Alright. So, like, we have a slight problem. And that slight problem involves grass. We live in strange times. Alright. Okay, there we go. Aesthetically, this disturbs me a great deal. I am very concerned. Let me try something. Let me try putting a tree down. See if that'll help. Or if that will make it worse. Nope, nothing. Okay. We're gonna make this work. Okay, so we have that, right? Okay, now from there is where we shall continue and hope that this functions. It's just freaking determined, isn't it? I'm gonna try something. Only slightly dangerous. No idea, no idea. One moment, please. Ah, phone trolls trying to reach me. Let's see. I mean, I guess we could just leave it and people could stare at it and wonder. Why? Why does this happen? Why? Alright. Yeah, because the landscaping is not going to do a darn thing about it. Is that better? That's better. I can live with that. Okay. Excellent. We want to kind of edge around here. And ultimately come down like around here. Yeah, that or we could make it work like that. But I think that, yeah, over here should be good. Because it's closer to that than to that, which is a less satisfying alternative. Excellent. Footbridge. Now people may cross the river on foot, if they so desire. It is a strange thing, but I thought it might be cool. Shall we make more of them? Perhaps. Will it help? That is the question. Maybe? This is what? Is this a university? That's a university. I'm going to abolish all universities just so that they are forced to go to the one. Yeah, how do we want foot traffic to work over here? Well, we could do... Yeah, we could do that. I guess the easiest way would be to move it through this way. Assuming that it's still going to go atop the boats. We'll see. We'll see how the thing allows it. If the thing allows it. And we go from there, he says, casually demolishing a business. Let me unzone that real quick. There we go. What was that? It was a food market, for goodness sake. Okay. Your grocery store shall not stand in the way of progress. Okay. Let me see if I can... Yeah, I've got to... Gonna plunk it not quite so close. Yeah, there we go. Now, yeah, it's gonna need to be a little higher up to avoid this route. It's the only thing. Let's get it over this way first. So that it does not interfere with the boat route. There you go. That's weird. A nice trip past our delightful solar-powered energy producer. All right. Strange footbridge. I just had it in a vision, you see. Okay, let's see what's next. There are already so many ways to get across. We must have more! More ways to cross. It's going to get tangled up over here. It would be nice to have, like, neighborhood-to-neighborhood bridges, though. I mean, we have this, but, we have the cable cars, but, we can do more. If we try hard enough. Thing is, I do worry about clearance here, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm thinking something that goes from the beach volleyball court over to here, just for the sake of doing that. I don't have to build underneath the bridge. Got enough problems already. Although, I will do another little path down here. Why not a bike path, Jim? Well, I feel as though I'm not really grasping bike paths as well as I should be. How they work, how they exist. Because also footpaths already are able to have bikes on them, so I guess there's I guess a clearance thing situation where it's like if you have something dedicated to the bike path, then that's better in its own way. Alright, so that goes through there. Yeah, it might just be a thing of we have no idea where we were going with that thought. None whatsoever. Beach volleyball court. It's going to be hard to make this work precisely. You almost kind of just want to do it from here so that you can do the same trick you did over there. I feel that. Yeah. I mean, once you get so close to here, though, I mean, it's like, what's the point, right? Let me see what we can do. I mean, we're gonna have some issues. I can tell we're gonna have issues, but it's just, you know, you just want to see. I want to see how far we can go with this. Huh. It's interesting because the thing where it says space already occupied is actually applying more to the one thing than the other, depending on how we set it up. Now, I don't think it's going to be feasible to put I just don't think it's going to be feasible to put it here. Interesting though the idea was. You got too many things too close to each other. Here, maybe. I want to just sort of throw it down there so that they can get up to that point. We could do that. I have no idea why I'm so concerned suddenly with people being able to cross the river, but there we are. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, apparently we can do this, and no one will stop us. No one. There we go. Actually, it's kind of pretty. Hopefully boats can still make it through there. Where do we have ferries right now? You have any ferries down here coming through? Not yet? Okay. We'll see when it goes through. If it can go through. So we did that. Nice, nice. Do we want to do another one over here? How many of these do we want? How many, indeed? People will use them. Let's have something meeting up with that, maybe. Except, once again, we have the problem of going underneath. Yeah. The underneath and over problem. Kinda gotta see how that goes. Let me take a look at it. I guess we'll be fine. I just want to see what happens here. Yeah, that's a little low. I feel as though that's a little low. Can we do a thing? Do a thing real quick. Also, we have this to deal with. Yeah, actually, let me, a little higher. Will that help? Let's see how that goes next time. Just like design-wise, you sort of want to have something that people can not have the top of their not have the top of their boat destroyed. Just, you know, if you have an option. I almost just want to do this. Huh. There we go. That's better. Ah! There we go. The dead people can keep for a while. Is it summer? Are we running out of ice? Okay, let's see. That is a jet ski rental place. Guess we could do one more connection up this way. If we desperately want to. Fishing pier. Jet skis. Marina. Yeah, I was thinking about just having like one more little path leading like up here or something. Just so that folks could get across if they wish. Might be fun. A little bit of grass there. Why do the aesthetics of this thing bug me so much? I don't know. That's even worse. It's better the original way. Yeah, we're just gonna have to leave it as it was. That'll be okay. Okay. So we have that happening. I don't know, I just enjoyed putting that in. That was just for to see if people will use the footbridges. Okay, yeah, it looks like there may be a demand. Congratulations, Olivia Greenaway. You are the first to use one of our bridges, perhaps. Yeah, we've got people going, that's good. I don't know how many people we'll have going. It is a long walk, but I guess there's a demand for it. At least somewhat. Oh yeah, look at that. Got several people using this one, because of course it's a more highly populated area. Cool. Awesome. Okay. How's the aviation club doing? We have a light aircraft taxiing. It's flying around. Perhaps doesn't have a specific destination, I don't know. That is cool. Is it gonna go higher than we can use? Is it gonna go higher than we can perceive here on the map? I do not know. Look at that gorgeous plane. Ah, there it went. Okay. It's off our radar. Okay, I guess I'll actually get back to what I was supposed to be doing now. Instead of just messing around with planes. Not enough goods to sell. That's going to be an epidemic, really. Because, yeah, I did not go hard enough into industry early on, and as a result, sadness. But that's okay. We will learn from our mistakes for the next city. So next, what do we want? We were working on transit, I believe. He says, after spending like over half an hour messing around with non-transit issues. We did air transport last time, I remember that. Ship transport, is there anything we wanted to... I don't think we wanted to add any ferries at this point, or any ferry stops. I don't know, a ferry to get across from here to here might be cool? I don't know. It's not really... This is not really a tourist zone, you see. So I don't feel as though it would really be necessary. This is more of a working industrial zone. Working industrial. Working not at all industrial zone. That temptation keeps coming up. Should I just put a tiny little oil field in here somewhere? Just a little one. No one will notice. It'll be fine. Look, there's space. There's space for it and everything. Just a small one. Just get a few oil products going and... Just right behind the airport. That won't harm anything. Just a few more things. That temptation, it's always there. See, you just fit it in right there, or right here. It'd be fine. It wouldn't trouble anyone. Just a little bit of oil refinerying. That's the thing. You could put it over here by the garbage. Surely no one would object to that. So already we've got water treatment happening. You know. Surely it would be fine. How is the trash handling right now? We're okay. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's okay. It's a little oil district back here. You're trying so hard. So hard. Would you not also have to have the... Yeah, you'd have to set up one-way roads and... I mean, look. This even without silos. This is already... Look at this. Look at it. It's also a freaking huge district, so, I mean, there is that, but... What else are you going to do with this area? I mean, these are fair questions. We might try it. No other boat things we want? No. The next thing is trains. That's a thing we're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to untangle the train traffic issue. If we can. That's gonna require much thought. So while we're doing that, we could put in some oil. Why are you doing this? We want more factories. We want our factories back. Yeah, but I mean, you gotta make room for them. That's gonna be a problem, isn't it? Yeah, maybe. It's just a little redesign. Bit of a late hour to test these things. And also we're not going to have ore, which is, you know, probably also going to be helpful, but I mean, you know, I guess we could do something. Let's see, the extractor buildings are oil pumps and drilling rigs. And an offshore drilling platform is like the level 5 thing, which we're never going to get that. It would not be a lot. Processing is... We make petroleum. And we use the petrochemical plant to make plastic. I mean, we can give it a shot. I'm gonna save the game first. And like, the only reason I think I'm doing this is because I reserved that entire area for garbage, but it still looks like we are nowhere near full up on that, so... Let me go ahead and see what happens when I do this. Industrial specializations. Industry area, right? Yes. There are a lot of available units. This is a terrible idea. And we're just going to keep it inside this zone for now, and we'll see kind of what happens. So if we have like a main building here, small oil pump, oil sludge pyrolysis plant, and a small crude oil tank farm. Oh, storage. Oh, storage. So we will have... Oh, these are very small. These are very small. Let's see. This is what we make petroleum. This is not too big. And this is, I presume, storing? Storage? Yeah. Storage, anything like this we've got to put on, that we have to put on some kind of a loop. Gotta watch ourselves here. And do it out here somewhere. Yeah, I think I figured out how we want to do that. Okay, good. We'll see if it's as bad as the silos. It might be. So I'm going to make a little one-way road. I can kind of go through here and we can have a number of these oil buildings on it, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see. I think we'll just cross like that, yeah. That seems decent. Let me turn the guides back on so that I'm doing this on a straight line here. So we'll have a few of these, and then we'll do a few coming back the other way of the other thing, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay. I don't want to load it up too crazily, although that is apparently the secret to success. Start with a few small oil pumps and kind of figure it out from there. It's going to be 4,800 units no matter where in here we put it. Good, good, okay. We're just going to start with like 6 of them heading out this way. Pretty sure we can nix this in a moment. So we're going to put bigger ones here, right? Yeah, I think so. No idea what size they'll end up, but we can... There. 10. And then along this way, we will have other things. The sludge pyrolysis plant. Pyrolysis plant. The plant where they do the stuff. Okay, a little too close to that for that, but we can do this. Okay. We'll just start out with like 6 of these. Because again, we don't want to go too nuts here. And I'm going to store it up here. I'm going to do the one-way road situation again. Or actually, no, I'm going to do this again, because this seems to be working. This process that I am using. You know what, actually, I'm going to continue to go with straight lines here. So it'll probably be easiest to deal with. Okay. To start out with, we'll put 3 of them up there. We'll see how that goes. Storage you gotta be really careful with, I have discovered. No, quick, let's put the Brandenburg Gate up there. Why? Let's see. We appreciate industry. And this is a small one, right? Good Lord. Alright. I don't think there's going to be room for bigger ones. I have to find somewhere else to put those. Might even be best to put them on the... Might even be best to put them on the far side, really. Thinking about it. Okay, we'll see how this goes. If the backup comes through here, then we'll... I mean, there'll still be a backup, but... You know, we'll figure it out. Also... Yeah, that should go the other way. That should really go the other way, shouldn't it? Yes, yes it should. Okay, let's make it go the other way first, before we... Yeah, back to where you were. Roughly where you were. Now let me make that counterclockwise. Make fewer traffic problems down there. There we go. There, and those are dedicated, and so yeah, good. We can just come around down here and then down through here. Okay, good, good. Okay. All right, heavens help us. We're in the petroleum business. I could take it no longer. Oil industry. Oh, heaven help us. Heavens help us. Okay. And you see, the point is that we will make some... let's pump that black gold. We're going to put some more of those factories back out here. So then once we have the products for it, we're not going to be able to do, you know, anything that requires glass. But maybe we'll be able to do more. We'll see. Wish there were giant marshmallows instead. Me too. Let me check the junctions here. Yeah, that's fine. That should be a light. Let's see. What do we have that we need? What do we need here? Power. Power is going through. I think we can do away with these now. This must stay, I think, for now, but it's doing better than it was. Also, I don't think this is necessary anymore. Not quite the level that we have it at anyway. Okay, good. Good. I mean, we got to keep everything connected still, but it's better. Water also needed. There we go. Why is no one picking up our trash? I don't know. Probably having trouble getting there. 76. Not great. Okay. Transit, right, yes. That was part of the traffic problem we were trying to alleviate. The trains. Why are the trains having so much trouble? Why are the trains having trouble? Let's look at the trains. The train situation now while we have our oil situation starting up. This is weird in a way because I don't really feel like I need to add more train lines necessarily, but we also want to we want to make it so that we don't have to worry about this. Ah, okay. So here immediately I'm seeing a bottleneck here. Where there are some issues there. Also, I can see that some of the industrial trains, since, you know, it's just coming back up here and then coming through here, and then that stops everything else. That something dedicated would probably be a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Because then that delays the passenger trains getting up here. And I don't know how things are looking in the tunnels, necessarily. Yeah, like we've got some trains. But yeah, they're not too delayed up here necessarily, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, very little going through here. Here is where we are having a bit of a backup, but that's going in this direction. Where are you headed? You're a passenger train. You have one passenger on you. Where are you headed? We don't have a lot of passengers on our train line here. On this line, anyway. But it's like stock still. This is stock still. Now this is stock still. Trying to figure out why we have a standoff right now. And I think it's entirely to do with something happening down here because they're on the right side, right? Yeah, they're moving very slowly. They're trying to get out. And these are freight trains trying to get out, right? I think having the yeah, it's a thing of having the freight trains and the passenger trains using the same line. There's a situation there. How's our petroleum? No, they're making oil. They've got oil, they're making it into petroleum. Uh, 57 barrels so far, output 80 barrels. Yeah, we're doing okay. We've got enough workers, we just need to produce enough units, which presumably we will do. If we want to do it faster, I'll add more. But yes, right. It is this bottleneck with all of these other trains trying to get out. Okay. Okay. So... a different route for passenger trains would be a good idea. Right? Because we have all these cargo trains coming down here and interfering. Alright. No one seems to need to use this much at all, which I guess is understandable. Huh. Okay. I put this in for no reason. A strange train line that just wraps through, snakes through this whole place. Because they don't need to get from that one station to another. Okay. So this isn't even necessary. What I have happening here. Not necessary. They need a way out. Just need a dedicated line that goes from here out. And then what about this one over here? It's the cargo trains. It's definitely the cargo trains. I think. Now these are passenger trains coming and leaving. Let me see. There was something of a backup over here, wasn't there? Or was there? There doesn't appear to be now so much. It's just the ones heading out. Okay. How is this one doing? Okay, that's a... yeah. This one seems to be doing alright. Not much interaction here. Let me see what happens here. That just went right through. It's a freight train. Do I even have a passenger route that goes down here? That is a question, is it not? I do not. That would explain why I don't have any passenger trains going down there. Well, that's a thing. Water? You need water? I never gave you water. You don't need water, you need products. You need water. You shall have water. I was not even thinking about it. Let's go ahead and cover this just in case. Let's go ahead and connect up the different points just so that there's a flow going. Alright. Yes! Make them dig... I just looked up and saw... Hi! You know, yeah. Make them dig their own wells. Yes, that's... that I think would be best. If you want water, you're gonna earn it! You want these helicopters to work? Okay. Alright. Yeah, like I put train service here, but I didn't actually put any trains. So, might want to put a train, might want to actually have a train going there. You know, just in case. Where do we want it to go from? We have a few options. Let me look at the train routes that we have. What do we have? That's Metro. These are trains. We have 4 lines. We have a north line. We have a west, east, middle, and north, right? Okay. So the west line. That's this one, right? Just heads down through to wherever we have stations over here, I guess. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, it goes up there and stops. Okay, I see. The east line also goes in there. Heads up there. And that's all we have there. Middle. The middle line. This is a passenger line. I guess is circular. Just goes through all these. Okay. And the north line just sort of wraps across. Yeah, the northern line just wraps around there. Yeah, I see. It's hard to see because of where we are positioned on the screen, but yeah, it just goes between those back and forth. Okay. So we need... for anything that is not currently covered. What is not currently covered? That... is that the only train station not covered? I guess? I just forgot to do anything with it. Alright. Shouldn't be too big a deal. We just have a spur going from here to here and that'll do it. So you can pretty much get to here from anywhere else. That was the first train station I think we put in fact. So we'll do that. I mean, I guess if we wanted, we could set it up so that it goes through these two cargo areas that it shouldn't go through, and then up to here. But the other option is just go up here and then it'll take you up there because it already has that ability. Yeah, we've already got a line going that way that we need to fix. So, yeah, I'm just gonna, right now I'm gonna put in a line going back and forth this way, and we'll see how that goes. Get a new line. Goes there, and back. Alright. So this one will be yellow or gold if they decide they want to interpret it that way. And this is just southwest. Very short line, just has 2 stops. Okay. I mean, the east line only has 2 stops too. But that'll hopefully be something anyway where we can get people down there. Still, I think I need to separate out... yeah, the problem clearly is that I need to separate out the cargo lines from the passenger lines. There's very little in the way of bypass happening on the cargo options. It seems as though all of our cargo options are very single-minded there. So let me see. So I think our best option is to so we have two ways of tackling this I can think of. Is to make some of the cargo lines unidirectional. So, like, they come out, but they don't meet back up. They actually will continue going this way, and they'll like head down and out through there, maybe, depending on where they have to go. Where are they headed? That's a passenger train. This is a freight train. Are they all heading this way? Yeah, there's a lot of transport fever happening here. Yeah, I think that's like they're all trying to get down that way. Are there any what kind of trains head out this way? Passenger trains head out this way. Freight trains enter this way. But I feel as though we don't have much in the way of freight trains heading out this way. Which is interesting. Okay. So, and this also is a freight train, yeah, coming in. Where do you go from here? I just want to see what happens to you after you either load or unload. You're loading, okay. Now you're continuing on. Let's just follow you for a little bit. continuing on through this station. There's a bypass on this station, thankfully. And it slows down. They give you right of way. You're heading out this way. Transporting cargo to Las Rico. I presume is off the map somewhere. This is my own bypass built for that. And you slow down because you're trying to get out. Okay. So, like, the biggest problem I can see is over here. This is the primary issue. Let me do a quick check to see how Project Slum is coming along. Oh, we have quite a ways to go. Okay. You may notice I'm not destroying these buildings anymore. That's because I'm trying to get an observatory. It may take longer than I have. Okay. But we have trains coming from this direction, and I'm leaving these abandoned buildings up, you see. And I'm leaving these abandoned buildings up, you see, and so then I am I have to get 1,000 abandoned buildings to get an observatory. So I am not destroying them anymore. But I've only got 17 so far. It may not be possible for me to get an observatory. We'll see. Now let's see. No. Let's see. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Let's see. So we go this way. As I think I've stated many times, the only villain in this game is the person playing it. That's how this goes. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we got another jam over here. Do they really want to observe a great decline? Oh, what they want is irrelevant. Look at them. They're ants. Ants, I tell you. No. Let's see. They're happy enough. It's all about bread and circuses. Okay. Oh, dear God. Okay. So the little petroleum project we caved in and got is reached level 2. So we can now do a petrochemical plant. And we can do a small oil drilling rig. We can do a household plastic factory. And we can do an oil industry workers barracks, crude oil storage cavern. Wow, okay. These are things I will need to figure out about momentarily. So, like, the jam here we have happening, it's just going here. So that's not really going to be too big a deal. And I can probably just destroy this train line going through here because I don't think we have anything using it. We don't have any actual passenger lines running through. We have an actual passenger line running through. Never mind. Ha 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 ha! Oh, and a freight train is coming in there. Okay, we're not going to destroy that line then. You're actually using it. Right, yes. Trains. We need a dedicated line for the freight to head, like, out immediately. and get down here. We also have passengers wanting to get out this way, I presume. Right? Yeah. It's a big backup. So how to solve it? I haven't seen the people demand whales yet, but you never know. Transportation whales. We have whales, actually. Well, we've got one down here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. I think. I have no idea what that is, actually. I can't tell what these things are. See, we have whales. You can hear them. Anyway. Right, yes, trying to escape. I wish I could just, you know, do more, another line down here, but I can't. That's going to be the tricky part, really, just trying to figure out... I don't know if there is a way to separate out for this line. Transportation from cargo, necessarily. Perhaps. I don't know if it's going to help. I might be able to... Traffic heading this way, I think, might be okay. Just have to figure out how I want to handle this. Oh, they need water. We missed a spot. Have some water. Alright. So, like, if we have a couple things. A dedicated thing coming off here, I think, might help. If we just sort of send them in a different direction. They're trying to go down, right? So we send them down. But, we get them on a track that just takes them to, like, down here somewhere, so they can go down. But before that, we will have a connection that takes anyone who needs to go up from here up, if that makes sense. So, like... having this sooner, basically, is what I'm thinking. Because all the cars coming down this way, let me see. It's passenger train, freight train. Well, I mean, we have freight trains coming this way. Where do they come from? Where do freight trains come from? They come from the cargo airport hub. Ah, okay. Right. Because they're over here. Right? Yeah, okay. So something that shunts down joins up with a track that comes down here and will let people leave. They also have passengers who are going to want to leave, though. People trying to go in the out direction. It's like you get to a certain point. You have trains leaving from here, you have trains leaving... Okay. This is a freight train heading to the cargo train terminal. This way. Okay, got it. It's not a huge amount of traffic that way. So I think that'll be okay. Where are you headed? Also to the cargo train terminal. Oh, and this one. Okay. So where do you go after this? Westfield, you're leaving. And you're leaving this way, aren't you? Yes, of course you are. No one wants to leave to the left. Alright. The only ones who want to leave to the left, I think, are passengers. I think. I could be mistaken. Yeah, we still have people trying to get that. Oh, man. Alright. This may be an irreparable situation. I do not know. I do not know. I wonder if I give them the option of an express lane out, will they take it? Yes, that's the question. And the only way to know is to build it. So an express lane out that has 3 forks to it, 3 tines to it, one coming from up here, one coming from down here, and one coming from up here. And I do not know if it is going to help the traffic at all. I suppose the main thing is to not have it interfere with the local traffic. So we'll have some degree of local traffic. So there'll be, yeah, okay. So we'll have some degree of local traffic that'll be happening, I think. Yeah, alright. You just want to be able to close this loop a bit, I think, when it comes to local traffic. Actually make it so that they can... Yeah. Because you want trains to be able to get here, but also they need to be able to leave. One moment. Ah, lungs. Okay. Why is it that to make trains work we need a degree in hypermathematics? I don't know. Okay. Dedicated outlines, right. Okay. Because we have one way. So, let's say for a moment, let me actually, once again, let me look at the lines. East line. And apparently the middle line also goes this way. Yeah. And we have the east and the middle line both going this way. Okay. So what if we take that and we actually make it so that it is a shorter distance to get here? That might help some. It's gonna be a little messy, figuring out where we're gonna connect everything. The Science Center is going to possibly have some issues. We'll see. Let me see. Actually, yeah. Actually, coming in is not the problem. It's heading up this way, I think that's the problem. And are they even... Yeah, here's the thing. If I put in multi-directional lines... Actually, it should be okay, I think. Should be okay, I think. Alright. What I need to do is create a spur off of here. It comes down and across... and like down into here somewhere, which I feel is going to cause a lot of buildings to be destroyed. Is there a way to do this without destroying buildings? I'm just kind of curious. You can go underground. I may have to move the Science Center, possibly, depending on how this goes. Also, I see that we can remove these. Are you okay? All right. Curious. All right. We shall look into that in a moment. Let's see. Just sort of shunt them under. Deep into the earth. Let me see what we have to work with underground here before I even try to do anything. decent amount of space. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. Do it this way. There. Now, it needs to come out like here. Heavens help us. All right. And once again, we're intersecting with a monorail. Ah! Hopefully this will not exacerbate the problem. Hopefully this will help the problem and not exacerbate it. It's totally going to help the problem, right? Now, in theory, these are internal lines. It shouldn't actually need another one out that way. What about people coming into town? I think out-of-town traffic we're going to continue to let use the longer routes. But let me see how that might affect things. Now, let me see if it's going to do, if that does anything first of all. Ah, there we go. Okay, that's now, I think, going both directions. Yep, good, good. Okay, okay. That's the east line. Does the middle line also go there, or am I? Yeah, the middle line actually has a different route. Alright. Still comes down through here. But I think we can figure out a way to fix that one too, so that it's not interfering. Okay. Because again, doesn't need to really go through a cargo hub. Instead, it can shunt off before it hits the cargo hub and attach to this other line. A never-ending quest for efficiency, that is correct. That is correct. Let me see what I can... I remember this was a major morass to get through before, so we'll see. We'll see how we do now. You know what? I remember there being space down here, so we're going to make use of that now. If we can. Alright. Assuming this does what we want it to. Let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. We do have that as an issue, but we'll deal with that momentarily. Let me see here. How we oh yeah, we need to reconnect that. That's okay. All right. Where were we heading with this? It's down here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Where's that line? That's coming through here. Okay, we just need to meet it up with this somewhere. And in theory, that should work in the same way because again, we only need to go the one direction. Yes, underground. Okay, so now, if we look back at this train station here, I'm going to look at this passenger line that we have set up. Right now it's still going through there, but should be able to shunt through there. No. There we go. He clearly wants to do that. There we go. Now it's flowing through there. Deep beneath the earth. And so we'll see if that helps. Probably not, but you never know. And then over here we had we just wanted to deal with it here as well. And for this, I think I was just going to try and create a special exit line for these folks, as I recall. Which I don't know if they're going to use. That's the only problem. The only things I really can control are the passenger lines that I have. So that being the case, what would make the most sense is, yes. Just have something that's that bypasses that station, basically. Doesn't have to use quite the same stuff. So just like we have an offshoot that comes out, huh. No, you see, yeah, there are a couple of lines. Is it just the one train line out here? Just the west line? Where does it go? Goes through here. And this just goes there. I see. Yeah, the way that we've got it currently working. So we just put it on a separate track from everything else. It's like we split it off and set it to come down here somewhere. But that's really not going to help much, is it? Because they still want to go that way. Yeah, I might not be able to do much for that one, the more I think about it. Unless freight trains still getting backed up. Have I made the problem worse? I do not know. It'd be nice if there were a way to keep the freight trains out of this... out of here. You know? If I try to make a dedicated line for freight, though, I can't... If I try to make a dedicated track for freight, there's no guarantee they're going to use it. It is... I know. Did I make the problem worse? What an odd question. I know. Like, we know the answer. The answer to that's always the same. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any control over whether it's going to send anyone to the or, you know, what direction it's going to send folks. So I'm afraid this isn't going to work out as we had hoped. Like, the most I can do is try, yeah, is, oh no, not even that. I can't even do that. Curses. It's a catch-22 because you want the train stations open to outside lines, so that people can, you know, from outside can get there. All right, well, I guess that's a lesson for future cities, because I think that's all we can do. I think what we've done is basically all we can do at this point with respect to the trains. So I'm going to go ahead and save the game again, and shall gaze briefly upon these fields once more, now rife with pollution. Hillside Petroleum. Let's get some more things going, so we can get plastic manufactured. How's traffic looking up here? Not bad, actually. That's good. Okay, level 2 petroleum. We're actually doing pretty well. Even though we haven't increased a lot of our resources here. So... just going back, looking at what we have. Workers' barracks, which increases work efficiency by 5% up to the maximum of 100%. So if I get like 20 of those, then that'll be great. We'll see where I can end up putting them in later. This is going to be a small area. We've got a rig. We got some rigs. Oil. Okay, we have one of those. We now have petrochemical plants to make plastic, which will be awesome. The size of these, we can only put them, yeah, out here. We'll do that. Let me, in fact, make a slight adjustment to where I'm positioning some of these, or all of these. Petroleum on the right, on the left. Petroleum on the left. As you drive up this road, petroleum on the left. Plastic on the right. Okay. We have a fence if we want a fence. And crude oil storage cavern. It's a storage building. Let me see how big it is. See you putting it up here somewhere. Just to have it, right? Capacity is 400,000. Capacity here is 300,000. I guess that's the main advantage. I don't think we want to put it that early on the journey. We can certainly fit it in. A quick redesign. Okay. And I think barracks we could fit in around here somewhere. You get like 7 of them in. That'll help. There we go. Ah! I don't know if this actually helps the water flow or not, connecting these extraneous pipes, but you never know. Don't know if they're extraneous or not. Okay. So we'll see what that yields. Because we now have plastic production in place. Ah! Just reach level 3. More efficiency, less pollution. We now have a large oil pump, a toy factory, and oil industry storage. Toy factory. Is that a unique factory? Toy factory. Uses wood, paper, and plastic to make toys. Cool. So that's the thing to consider putting down over here. Interesting. I don't think we're ever going to necessarily hit... I don't think we're necessarily going to hit 5 stars with it, but... I mean, we might. But, and just like production-wise. But... And it's got a negative profit, so, I mean... If we were playing with money, that would be an issue. Okay, so... Let me see. Time. As I said earlier, I got a late start, so I don't have a lot of time left. I don't think, but I will go ahead and take a quick look into our next our next traffic situation really quickly. And also, I'd like to put a toy factory down. Furniture. Oh, that's right. The factories don't require special anything. Just the warehouses do. Let's see. Factories. What factories could we have now that we have access to petroleum and plastic? That's kind of what I wonder. So, a household plastic factory, a toy factory, printing press is there already probably. Where's the printing press? Do we not have a printing press? We have the bakery and the furniture factory, and that was all that was left. Printing press should be doable. We have paper and... oh, because plastic. Ah! So we can do household factory, plastic factory, toy factory, printing press. Lemonade is still out of our reach, unfortunately. Clothing is now doable. We'll eventually have a petroleum refinery, perhaps. Soft paper factory, we can put that back. We can do that again. Don't know if we're never going to have a car factory. Food factory. Requires flour and animal products and paper and plastic. We can put most of these back. The modular house factory we cannot do because we need glass for that. So it's everything. We can put everything back in except for the lemonade and the modular house factory. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna keep this for... we need to store stuff. Possibly. But yeah, we can just... oh, maybe. Yeah. Toys? No, not the lemonade factory. Clothes. We can have clothes again. Oh, soft paper. We'll be over here. Which... probably is... it's a little more pollution than we'd wanted, but, you know, there's nothing else out here except the airport. And food. Food apparently is possible. But not the modular houses. So we can do that, or... just have it there. Alright. We have factories again. I mean, we may want to try to slip in some warehouses. So that we will have slightly greater access to some things. Just a warehouse for plastic, a warehouse for because we got a warehouse for flour, we got a Warehouse for animal products. And then some crop storage up here. And the bakery's not been doing... Yeah, still hasn't been enough, apparently. We'll probably try and address that at some point. Guess they want power. Don't they all? They always want power. We should have enough power. They are not turning blue, however. Probably because... Oh, they're not operating, that's why. Okay. Not operating yet because not enough special goods. Which, these require plastic, so that's fine. Yeah, we've got to wait for them to get to them first. Like everything's going to be incoming. A lot of people are worried about the trash. Garbage processing status still seems okay, just by the numbers. But we shall see. Everyone wants power. I know, right? Look at our beautiful oil field! Just because we wanted plastic. Ah! Academic year isn't that great. We lost some students, lost some campus attractiveness. Still recognized, thankfully. Chirpy coin! Oh, great! They created cryptocurrency. No! Don't do that! Cryptocurrency that will try to solve all the issues with other cryptocurrencies. Oh, God. Bad university. They may have to cut their funding. Now they're going to keep producing that kind of thing. Nickel-free cages. Blacksmith students found a way to make bird cages without using any nickel, and now there's finally a cage birds actually enjoy staying in. Well, that's good. Jeez. Okay. Didn't I set this as an eco-friendly city? I did. And then I figured out more about how they balance things out when it comes to the industry DLC. How they got crypto through, I have no idea. That was not good. Yeah. Because unfortunately the thing is that the eco-friendly thing was an ideal, but not something that you can actually do a setting for aside from like the housing and certain other things. Like with your policies. Like they don't have anything that's like specific to certainly, I mean, you know, there's certain things you can not do, like industrial space planning. High-tech housing you can do, and I'm doing that in certain neighborhoods and not in others. Electric cars. Filter industrial waste. There are certain things you can do on an individual level, but unfortunately... Yeah, they decided to do that. Yeah, that's not good. Our little park. We have people jumping on trampolines. Nothing has enough goods because the industries aren't making things appropriately. How's the castle doing? We've had some visitors. That's good. How are we doing here? We're doing another launch anytime soon. They're building another rocket. Okay, that's good. Oh, Jesus. I am disappointed. I am disappointed in the... Whoever in that university decided to start looking into cryptocurrency. We're not going to fund that for a while. Okay. Jesus. Alright, what was the next transportation problem before I go completely spare? Metro! Oh, God! Yep. Metro. Where do we have Metro? Where do we need Metro? That is not Metro, that is train. This is Metro. So, for some reason this one never seems to fill up. It's always that one. You put two things side by side, they don't work the way you think they're gonna. Also, we need more neighborhood. Okay. Well, we've sort of been planning in this direction. Let's see what we've got. Noise, we can put some through here. You have any pollution problems over here? Not really. Okay. That's something then. And then we can also build more in this direction if we want to. If we have the overwhelming desire to, but let's start by putting some down here. Now obviously we can't have anyone living too close to these, but yeah, we can have some. So we'll do that. See, do we want to put low density or high density out here? I feel like this is more of a low density area. There's not a whole lot we can do though after that. Let me see here. Yeah, that's about as close as I want to get. If that close. To all the noise. You gotta be careful if we want to start building in this direction. There's gonna be issues. Build a little neighborhood out here. Isolated from everything. There's like a band through here we could cram residents into. We can also start doing it down here, somewhat. Assuming we're never going to do anything else with the train situation. Let's do over here first. So the forestry situation is fairly closed, but at the same time, yeah, I think I see a way through here. Okay. Let's see what we can do. And I'm not going to take the time to build ditches for these. We're just going to keep going. Alright. For folks who want to get to that part of town. There's like a narrow bend through here I can build through and then have them like come out over here. Sort of fill that area. If we desperately want that to happen. That's elder care. We can't build through that. There's a mild chance we might be able to build between those. I doubt it, but you never know. Unless we move these around. And we're not getting a secondary road through here, probably. Interesting though the idea is. Too close to the corner. Unless we want to do something weird and drastic like that. Which I feel might be a bit overkill. But who knows? Overkill is kind of what we do. Alright. Ha ha ha. You know, the worst possible thing we can do right now is, yeah. There we go. Getting into easier territory here. Strange, isolated place to live. For anyone who cares to. We'll think about that one. Mm-hmm. Okay. You see. They have garbage pickup. They do, theoretically. Not here. Some. I have to decide if I want to connect this road up or not. I guess I could. Yeah, they seem to have the services mostly taken care of. We might need education out here, which we don't seem to have any of. It's very difficult. Getting education to where it's needed. Gotta put like bunches and bunches of schools down. Try and make that work. Okay. It's not great, but it's there. Okay. We'll see if just this area filling in does anything for that. Alright. For the sake of Metro, just looking at it, and we actually do need to get going, so we probably won't be able to do anything with the Metro yet this session, but I do want to at least see where we want Metro stations and connections and what have you, so where we don't have them already. So we're going to want Metro to come into this neighborhood, or this area, because it's the only thing we don't have down here right now. Let's see, I don't feel, we probably don't need Metro to the industrial areas so much. I'm imagining more for residents. But we need to have some out here, these new areas. How is our Metro up here? We've got like one subway station, and that, I think, is it. Yeah, we probably will need some more, a little bit through here. We need to get folks up here somewhat. I guess folks working there probably will need it, if nothing else. And then we have to be able to connect the Metro stations. Oh, that's right. We have Metro stations at these airports that we need to connect up. So I mean that'd probably do for the Metro station that we'd have down here. But probably another one not too far away wouldn't be a bad thing, since, you don't want everyone to have to go into the airport to get anywhere. Ah, water. So we're going to want to do that, and basically then connect the, I think we're going to want to put in the new stations that we want to have, and then connect folks up, then connect them up to the airports as well. I think that'll be what we want to do. We have Metro down here, which is good. So, there are places we'll have these newer places, we already have it, we just need to throw a little more in. Also, might be good to have it by this airport. It's the only airport we don't have it near. So, this will be cool once we get it going. We do have it in this neighborhood. Don't think we have Metro up sort of in this corner. We haven't really done that as much. So it is a thing to consider. So that is a project for next time. Good to know where we stand with all of this. Hopefully I'll remember all that. Ha ha ha. It'll probably be fairly simple. Famous last words. Alright. Well, I see the the helicopters have managed to figure out how to break the time and space barrier by being able to occupy the same space at the same time. That's good to know. Good to know. Good to know when you have your public transportation that's defying the laws of physics when necessary. That's good. Shows initiative. But in any case, thank you all very much for watching. I am I'm actually very, very happy working on this. I'm also a little sad it's almost done, this particular city, I think. Not that I couldn't keep tinkering on infinitum, but there comes a point when you're like, okay, we're done. Perfect is the enemy of done, they say. So I will look forward to coming back and seeing how we finish things off with this. So we're going to do the metro, and then we're going to do the buses. So that'll, as far as redoing stuff, so it's going to be very exciting. But what do we have happening? Today is Wednesday. So on Tuesday, just wait until public transport adapts teleportation. I know, that'll have to redesign everything for that. Just up the number of power plants we have just so that we can make one transporter work. But let's see. On Saturday evening is when we have our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. And typically on Sundays I circle back and play this again. And then Tuesday night, provided we're all available, then we should be having the actual finale of our campaign of Urban Shadows. So I'm very excited for that. It's set in present-day Rome. They've just unleashed an incredibly powerful being on the city. And now they have to figure out how to stop it. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen, but it did. So that's we have that. We have one more session to sort of see what happens there, and then I think that'll be it. So that's going to be fun. And then we come back around to Wednesdays and more of this. Also, today is Wednesday. Today is the last day of sign-ups for a campaign of Don't Rest Your Head I'm going to be running starting in October. It's a short campaign. It may or may not be streamed, just depending. I'm going to probably make that decision within the next few days. But that's something I'm planning to run for like about half a dozen sessions or so. People playing insomniacs with supernatural powers, being chased by living nightmares, and having to deal with that. And so I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't. It's been a little while since I ran last. I try to run some every year, but it's getting up there. Time is stretching out now. It's not quite a year since I ran it last, but it's getting closer. So it's time. So very much looking forward to that. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, this is the last day. So you can go down and click on RPG sign up, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on game sign up. Beginners are welcome. Haven't decided yet about Fridays, but that is probably going to happen as soon as I have kind of figured. Yeah, I gotta kind of think, get my brain wrapped around the other projects that I'm starting. That over the next week or so, we're going to be gearing up for October. Don't Rest Your Head is one of those, and then there's another one that we've got coming up. So once I've kind of got that together, and I am relatively calm on that count, then we will go ahead and deal with that. So that will hopefully be announced soon. What new game I shall be doing probably on Fridays. And there are a few things, probably something in the adventure game genre. There are a few things I've been looking at that I want to get to. It's just I've got too many things I want to get to, so I gotta make a decision on that. So that'll be soon. Once I've got the rest sorted out. So We shall know that relatively soon. Probably, I think it's more Friday stuff. I'm thinking probably going to be happening by October. Just got to get there. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching, folks. And I think I'm going to go and lie down now. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden.